Hey everyone, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist. In this case, why people like bin Laden's. Not the terrorist, but the 500 euro banknote that it is nicknamed for. The name comes because it's kind of because it's used a lot by terrorists and corrupt politicians. Some of it is because it is very hard to find. So that's basically why it is. Now, so as to explain this a little bit better, I have to tell a little story, go back in time and to a place far away, not a galaxy, just a country far away called Argentina. We have Buenos Aires here, and I have to take you back in time to 2003. Yeah, let's go back a little bit further, 2001, December 2001, when the economy crashed. There was a place, a province actually, called Santa Cruz, which was ruled by the governor, a very nice guy called Néstor Kirchner, and his wife Cristina Kirchner. Now, these two were very happy when Néstor became president in 2003. He had been governor in Santa Cruz, and just a month before becoming president in 2003, he asked his good friend, another guy called Lázaro Báez, to buy different construction companies. It's called Austral Construction Company. That one is called Gotti, and a few others. Now, the idea here was that after becoming president and having the power to offer contracts to the different construction companies that offer the best price, the best deal, well, it's not much of a competition when all the companies are owned by the same guy who happens to be best buds with the guy offering those contracts. But this ended up working quite well for a very long time. Néstor was president, then came his wife Cristina, then she was re-elected. So over a decade of doing this sort of business ended up working beautifully nice. Now, the problem was that, and this was something that Cristina Kirchner was facing, what is it that you do when you have so much money? So Cristina Kirchner, yeah, I'm doing a not my best drawing, but you get the idea. So Cristina had this huge problem. What is it that I do with all this money? You may be wondering, how much money? Well, you know, running a country so much time, 5 million, 5,000, no, of course not 5. How about 5,000 million US dollars? Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like a bad problem to have so much money that you don't actually know what to do with it, but when it's that kind of cash, it is a problem. Why is that? Well, because 1 million US dollars is basically, if you look at it in the way these guys look at it, in a matter of weight and volume, $1 million, it's 22 pounds, about 10 kilos of weight. Yeah, you and I, we don't have much $1 million, but for these guys, it is a problem. Basically, $1 million, those 10 kilos fit in a duffel bag, in a gym duffel bag about this size, a large duffel bag. Now, when you have so much money, you have to think out of the box to find solutions. So that's where our friend, the bin Laden 500 euro note, comes in. If you look at it that way, 500 euros, that's, as of today, 654 US dollars. So for the same kind of weight that you would have 10 kilos in 100 US dollar banknotes, if you have that same $1 million instead in 500 euro notes, The weight is instead 1.6, give or take, of course, guys, 1.6 kilos of weight. All right, so they had their friend in Santa Cruz. They asked him to build a nice house. The Kirchners asked him to build a nice house with a chimney and all that. But instead of just doing it before actually putting the house there, they had a structure built beneath it. Watching the Modern Survivalist channel, maybe this is a bunker, a fallout shelter, kind of. What they did was they went to the Bank of Santa Cruz, the provincial bank. They took the vault from the bank, you know, those huge, massive, huge bank vault doors. They moved that, they took it off the bank and moved it under that house in that vault that they were building, so as to pile up all these. You know, if it's just one bag, that's okay. You have $1 million in just one bag. Now, if it's 5,000 bags, you have a problem to work with there. Of course, it's not just a matter of piling cash, having cash in your hidden vaults under a house. You have to find ways of taking that outside, taking that to foreign bank accounts and such. So what they did is, between Santa Cruz and a company in Buenos Aires, they would fly back and forth with an airplane. A guy, a friend of theirs, taking those bags with cash. In Buenos Aires, the cash would go to different companies based in Panama, Belize, and some other wonderful places, and from there it would go to different bank accounts in Switzerland and God knows where else. Now, you can't have this poor guy dragging all this weight, so what they did was put that in 500 euro bills. Why is it that this may be of interest to you? Well, maybe you don't have this kind of problem. Maybe you have millions and millions of dollars to worry you about. But what I found to be of interest, besides, of course, the corruption scheme going on, this guy's, by the way, I saw it in a TV show. It's called Periodismo para Todos. You guys in Argentina know about it. Called by Jorge Lanata. Very popular, and well, recently he explained all this with a hidden camera. He filmed the guy confessing what he did, moving back and forth the cash. It was very, very enlightening. But even if you're not a drug dealer or corrupt politician or terrorist or God knows what else, even if you're not that kind of person, it is still noticeable. I still found it to be interesting, the concept of having so much value, so much money in a smaller denomination note. Even if you have, for example, 10,000 US dollar stack in 100 US dollar bills, that stacks up to half an inch. Now, if we're thinking of, as we always do here in the Modern Survivalist, possible scenarios, war, civil war, disasters, it is an interesting thing to notice that you can have a much lighter weight, easier to conceal. Maybe like a scenario like in Bosnia, where there's a foreign force invading, there's checkpoints, or like what happened with Jews escaping Germany during the Nazi regime. You have to find ways of having everything lightweight and concealable in cases like that. That's where we can get a little bit of a lesson learned by these folks in what it is that they do. It is much smaller, much more compact to have it in this form. If it's part maybe of your bugging out abroad plan, something like that, it is worth considering, at least for part of your cash stash. So as I was saying, 10,000 US dollar stack of bills, half an inch. If we go instead for the 500 euro note, it's, what is it, 654. It's gonna be, for that same amount, for the same volume, you would instead have 65,000 US dollars. Another nice thing is that the euro, basically, it's readily accepted anywhere in Europe. Maybe it's going to be a little bit of a catching attention, but it is legal fiat currency in most of Europe, and anyone in the world is going to be ready to accept it or exchange it for whatever local currency they're using in most airports and such. So it is, for us law-abiding citizens, there's still a lesson learned there in terms of compactness and ease of transportation and such. Folks, that's basically it. Just interesting stuff that I see here and there and decide to share with you folks. Have a great day. Take care. See you on our next video.